1, 2, 1, 2. We've got audio. Okay. Let's just cut back to that image there. Get me up to sort of explain that. Okay, guys, I've got my glasses on. When I've got my glasses on, it's pretty serious. It means that I've actually had to read the manual and see what's going on. We are making this shit up as we go. Excuse me. Is it after 9 yet? I shouldn't be swearing, should I? Especially with a teacher audience. We've got a world famous rapper on the line here and a world famous impresario. I like calling Chris Sullivan an impresario because I looked it up and it described him. And I want this Loki guy, because this Loki, we move mountains to get people like this on here. And when it doesn't work, I take it personally. So I'm just going to show Loki what we've got going on here. You've got Malumba over there at the other. He's cooking my dinner, actually, chicken curry tonight. We've got not just one, not just two, not just three, but 5 laptops here. We've got a 12-channel audio mixer. Those are sound cards. Chris Sullivan's ears are going to start bleeding in a minute when he sees all this, because he just makes it happen. He's the artist. He doesn't need to worry about the tech. Got a bunch of books down there, and then we've got a green screen there, as you can see. So that's where I sleep. We're in a camper van. We've got that down there. Then if you can see there, we've got a disco mirror ball, because it was my birthday yesterday. Chris Sullivan, you didn't even send me a card, but we'll let you off. And you guys are here, so we've got Lucky and Chris Sullivan locked on there. So this is like a DJ mixer, basically. I have to use this language so Chris Sullivan understands it. It's like a DJ mixer. You're on that one, Chris. Loki, you're on that one. The third person would be at the back there when we had the camps, all mixed in. So I'm just going to press the buttons to get on with the show. That's me explaining myself and trying to justify myself. I really am sorry, guys. Can you rewind to where you were starting to talk about creativity and education specifically? Because you were making some really good points there, and I'm going to shut up. Sorry, guys.
Well, we'll start where we left off.
Yes. Okay. Well, I think, to be perhaps more concise than I was previously, we are in a culture now where if you just look at the comments of the Chancellor a few months ago when we were deciding which industries were worth bailing out and which were a case of just sort of letting fall by the wayside, the prevailing attitude, the further up the social scale that you go, is that, a lot of people in the arts, they're not making anything that's commercially viable. They don't seem to be going anywhere. They're not viable. Creatively, they're not viable. They're not financially viable. Now, obviously, if you're looking at society as a marketplace, where every single human interaction is a financial transaction, and every single human act of creativity is an investment, then absolutely, so many people are unviable. But actually, I think that there are those of us who would, and we're not necessarily mad radical socialists either. I think that you can resist that outlook on society without advocating for some sort of revolution. It just seems quite short-sighted and mean-spirited, and also terribly elitist. Because ultimately what these people are betraying, what they don't realise they're betraying about themselves, is that they're not interested in the stuff that most people make. So they know the stuff that they're into is all the historic stuff that's in canon. All you need is classically trained musicians to come out and play Beethoven, to come out and perform Madame Butterfly, and all of these things that they want to go and see. But who makes the new stuff? Who makes the stuff that passes comment on what's happening now? Who writes the operas that weren't written by royal spin doctors? And so when you start to think about it like that, you create the conditions for real cultural stagnation, as well as obviously excluding lots of people because they happen not to have been born in upper middle class backgrounds.
Yeah. Well, also, I mean, you're excluding the people who are the most creative, because, as we know, necessity is the mother of invention. Or many a masterpiece was written on empty stomach, and as for being non-commercial or not something you couldn't bank on, what about Van Gogh? At one point they would have turned around to him and said, "Oh, he's not going to make any money." If it hadn't been for his brother funding him, they wouldn't have been selling those paintings now for 17 million or whatever they go for. So as you said, it's extremely short-sighted, because what this country has a history of is creating art and creating music. If people think about they think about the Beatles, they think about the Sex Pistols, they think about the Rolling Stones, and that is our currency. Shakespeare, So this short-sightedness that we've seen over the last 30 years is really bewildering, I think.
I think even when you talked about Irvine Welsh earlier on as well, and his story is well noted, and he's been a great advocate for working class writing and working class creativity. What's interesting is that when his book came out, it was so controversial. It was regarded as so deeply controversial by the middle class commentariat, who could only discuss it in terms of how it offended their narrow sensibilities.
Yeah.
So while he was writing about drug addiction, to the extent that people like me struggled to read that book and struggled to watch that movie because it was so real and so truthful. Meanwhile, at the time the book came out, Jeremy Paxman, all of the other dominant commentators at the time, it was all about, is this glamorising drugs? It was all about, is there too many swear words in this? And what's interesting is, if you look at the middle class crime writers, or middle class writers of fantasy and erotic books and all of these other genres that middle class writers dominate, their personal contribution and their personal character is never brought into question because they're middle class, so it's assumed that anything vulgar in their work is them skillfully imbuing characters with pathos. Whereas if you take someone like Irvine Welsh, questions are asked about him. Is he vulgar? Is he glamorising drugs? And it's because you come from a working class background, you speak with a certain sort of dialect that, whether you like it or not, is transmitting all sorts of things about you. And one of them is that you're not capable of being sophisticated, that you're not capable of dealing with ambiguity, that you're not capable of looking at reality figuratively and expressing things poetically, because it's only middle class and upper class people that do those things. And so there's the whole battle to be creative, to give yourself permission to be creative, to have the confidence to be creative, for other people around you to nurture you, for you to then actually maybe look at making a living out of it, and then you have this whole other wall of obstinance to deal with in terms of going up against upper middle class cultural assumptions that really indicate the massive value gap between the social classes where creativity is concerned.
Yeah. So you've done a couple of things like Volition.
Yes.
Right. Can you explain what that was? Because that was on a similar, and Power Rap as well.
Yes. So the Volition was a project that I started in the mid-2000s. I was studying arts education and practice, and one of the units of the course was to devise a project involving creativity. So ultimately what I decided to do was try and investigate the viability of creating a small community arts organisation which placed young people at the heart of the decision-making process. And so it was called Volition because it was sort of saying, it's up to you what you make of this. It's of your own free will. Too often my experience as a young person in communities as well as an arts facilitator was that organisations were creating projects and pieces of work around what fitted their aims and objectives, which ultimately are set by government. So the government decides, 1 year we're going to pump £12 million of European Union funding into arts groups that want to renovate disused land. Right now, this is a worthy cause. Yeah. Obviously, though, you're going to find a lot of derelict land in the poor communities, where people are confused about what happened to the land, who owns the land. They have no sense of ownership over the land. Then middle class art facilitators arrive and say, "We're here to engage you, and you will be redeemed in the eyes of society by coming here and taking part in this." Repaving this garden, even though we haven't asked you what you thought of the garden. We don't know if you want a garden. We don't know if you're interested in art or how any of this links to your long-term aspirations in life.
Yeah.
And this was replicated again and again. So Volition was about sitting with the young people, asking what they were into. They were into hip hop. Then they wanted a place to record, so we identified funding and we got a community studio. Then they started recording, but they were also taking part in the mechanics of how the project ran, devising the constitutions, dealing with budgets, going and identifying equipment and going purchasing it. And so, in that sense, it was quite radical. There were aspects of it that didn't work so well. I worked with these guys for so long that they went from being kind of young people who maybe just looked up to me a little bit too much to going through the kind of rebellious adolescent phase, and then you know, when all my character flaws became more evident to them. So there was lots of friction and tension, and the group eventually wound up, but we had a good kind of 5-year crack at it where I learned a tremendous deal about getting the balance right between creating something that people can participate in every level, but also not imposing your own values on young people, because I made the assumption that because when I was a young person, I wanted to be involved in the decision-making process, that all young people would, when actually most young people just want to do something they like doing and they find the other stuff boring.
Well, and that's, as I said, going back to the TED Talks, it's like, you know, if somebody's good at something, they're going to do well at it, you know. And like, how many kids do I know? I mean, like in my school, for example, there was a lot of kids right in my school, a Roman Catholic school in Merthyr Tydfil, South Wales, were very creative because they were nurtured. What did they end up doing? Ended up being creative in criminality. Yeah, and I saw a lot of great, and maybe some of them were dyslexic. I'm sure they were, because they couldn't function within a school form, or they were illiterate, you know. So, but that doesn't mean they were stupid. I think that's what Steamco's about, is trying to pull that out of people.
Absolutely. I mean, there are so many ways to look at this issue. You know, there's the kind of one-on-one environment where you're just working with a young person who has low self-esteem, a negative self-image, has possibly got a bit of trauma in the mix, repeated educational and social exclusion. Then you scale that up to a bigger, broader community where opportunities are thin on the ground. And anytime anyone wants to do anything creative, they've got to deal with informal social pressure from the surrounding community, which is very strictly regimented along lines of speaking a certain way, being seen to be interested in certain things, dress a certain way, and anything that falls out with that frame of reference is very harshly policed. And we, you know the only people that are harsher on working class kids than the conservative politicians are other working class kids. I mean, and this is the same when we grow up. You know, like, I've got as much in my mind, I get as much stick from people where I come from because of the code switching that I have to do. When I speak to someone from England, I have to change the way that I speak, or if I'm speaking on Radio 4, or if I'm speaking in a prison, I've got that cultural flexibility where, having been in enough different social situations, I'm able to modulate what I'm doing in order to communicate most effectively. But where I come from, some people don't see that as a skill. They see that as you selling out. They see that as you being pretentious. They see that as you trying to deny where you come from. And so, you know, anything that falls out with their frame of reference is dismissed out of hand, including reading, including the idea of being intelligent. You know, when I was a boy, everything was gay. Everything, anything that wasn't football and boxing and gang fighting was gay. Reading was gay. Acting was gay. Playing musical instruments was gay. And so they didn't even mean gay in a homophobic sense. They just meant it as a synonym for anything that they didn't understand. And it's difficult to shake that. When you grow up in that environment and you're creative, you're in a constant battle every day just to truly inhabit who you are. And you can often do so at a tremendous risk to your own safety, your own sanity, and your own self-esteem.
Yeah, I think a lot of this dumbing down, though, has been of the population has been deliberate, because when Thatcher started by cutting the school curriculum, especially with the arts and the music, I'm a lot older than you, so I was born in 1960, so I remember what it was like in the 60s and the 70s when school was different, and there was a group of people who were far more illiterate and, it seems to me that of late, like now, it's like if you don't buy the Sun, they say, oh look at that gay bastard, look at him, gay boy over there, because you read it in the Sun, or you're not reading the Guardian or whatever, or reading a book. It seems to me that there's been a lot of dumbing down, or the government has dumbed down. Governments,
yes.
Not the people, the governments.
Yes, when you are, imagine you are the person who is presiding over society, or you're part of the social group that presides over the organising of society. So what we find, if we look at recent history, is that the more educated and empowered working class people are, the more of a disruption that is to the agendas of people who have a completely different value system about how society should be organised, how wealth and opportunity should be distributed. So what we're seeing now with the kind of regression past the sort of back to the kind of pre-20th century reforms, social reforms, liberal reforms, is that it has been decided that there's an optimal level of capacity and intelligence that people of a specific social class should have, and that if they have any more than that, that's dangerous. So if they have any sort of class consciousness where they might want to join trade unions or be involved in activist groups, then that has to be stubbed out, because that's inherently disruptive. And so we see that the rollback in education, and even some of the welfare reforms, which I think have a serious knock-on effect on children in terms of their developmental trajectories and how they become disrupted through malnutrition and community violence and familial dysfunction. We see really a kind of, there's a moment now where it's like, that's as high as we want you to go. That's as high as we want you to go. Obviously there are going to be exceptions to the rule, who might still be able to get up the rungs of the ladder by demonstrating merit and competence, and also a willingness to conceal their accent, a willingness to conceal their fury, a willingness to laugh at things that middle class people say that they don't find funny. But ultimately, you're witnessing now, and it's a shame because there doesn't seem to be any real political opposition to this within the traditional political system. You're seeing a sort of very blatant and a very blatant attempt to say, no, we do want a stratified society. We do want education to be able to prepare you for work. We want you to be able to read and to be able to count and to be able to perform basic functions. But we don't want you to develop ideas above your station. So if you want to get involved in theory and philosophy, you've got to do 3 years at university you've no chance of getting into before you're even allowed to have an opinion about those things. And that's the class system, and all of its naked vulgarity.
And it's never been more evident than it is now, in my lifetime anyway. And as I said, the most dangerous enemy is an intelligent one.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about your book, because you won the prize.
Poverty Safari 2018. It came out 2017. It was a small independent publisher that done it. I crowdfunded it, and then there was just a really strong word of mouth, from not just from working class communities, but also from many of the professions and specialties dominated by middle class people, who many of whom are very interested to understand more about what we go through as children, what we go through as teenagers, what homelessness, drug addiction, and all of that stuff is really like. So really, I wanted to write a book that was emotionally honest, as well as socially and politically accurate in terms of describing what it was like when I grew up, the different institutions that I intersected with, my understanding of social class, the power dynamics involved with that, and then eventually it was republished by Macmillan, and it won the Orwell Prize in 2018, which then sort of just changed my life beyond recognition. Really, I'm only just recovering from the disorientating effects of becoming very suddenly publicly noted at the level of the UK and not just in Scotland. So it's been an education, because the next book that I'm working on, I'm actually working on it, I've been doing quite a lot of work on it the last few days. It's less about my childhood and more about what this fish out of water experience of suddenly being middle class on paper and having money and being regarded with a certain level of reverence and prestige by people, which is very unusual to me. And really beginning to see the world through the eyes of middle class people, understanding what it is that makes them frightened of radical ideas, understand what it is that drives their tendency to want to govern the tone of conversations rather than be interested in the substance of them. Now, obviously, I'm speaking in generalities here. When you talk about class, it can't be avoided. But the second book, I think, will be more challenging for people of the middle and upper classes who definitely enjoyed the first book and loved to see that scrutinous lens on the poor. So I'm kind of hoping to call their bluff this time, and I wonder how they're going to feel when I'm talking about what middle class culture's like from middle class position in society.
Yeah. And I just got a call from Nick. He asked me if you could do one of your pieces. Is that a poem? Is that possible?
Oh, someone wants me to rap?
Yeah.
Okay, let me just think of one. I published a new video actually 2 weeks ago. It's been very widely watched. If you want to search for it on YouTube, it's about mental health. A lot of the kind of crises that we see in lockdown. It's on YouTube. It's called I Wish I Was Dead. It's quite intense though, so I would advise people to just have a little feelings check with themselves before they go into it. But I'll let you hear a verse from that. Excuse me. Somebody better call an air support. I'm getting wrecked for sport. Half bottle on the steps of court. Drowning out the last shred of remorse, so social workers fill out lengthy reports. A lost cause, sparking my last smoke. This is non-stop. Phones out of charge, everything I own's lost. But to hang my copper top from a stopper knot or launch a cocktail or Molotovs at a cop shop. Head full of negative thoughts. I remember it all in my sleeper cell. Eating cereal out of an old pot because the bowls didn't clean themselves. Hoodie up in a pawn shop. Praying these other people aren't seeing me the way I see myself, full of all sorts and whatnot. Bevy o'clock, get me at the squat. I'm just heading down from the benefit drop, staring into the Clyde. It's looking misty and murky. Another draw of the fag, another swig of bucky. Off the leash like a stray puppy. Crazed, nutty, trying to make money. Pray for me. I'm on the ropes, but I'm not trying to pull a punch. Leave your face bloody, trying to take from me. Put the snout in the bin for a junkie, threw the bottle in the river, and my home country became a case study. And I'll just leave it there. I'm going to have to jump off now. I know we were a bit late getting on, but I've only got till 8 o'clock. But it's been lovely to speak to you.
That was great. Well, thank you ever so much, and hopefully, if you fancy, we can speak to you again next time. Maybe it'll be something in Scotland soon.
Oh, absolutely! And then once things are back open in the real world, like I'm dying to get back out around the country again and go and meet people and just talk about ideas, you know.
But you let me know, because we both organise things. Me and Nick. I'm a journalist as well about other things, and you know I'm exactly on the same page as you are. So anyway, thank you very much.
Lockie, I'm here as well, man. Thank you for that, Lockie. That was really, really fantastic. We're gonna. Really, very, very powerful. It was authentic. It was from the heart. You're living it. You're talking it, and you're still he's gone. Oh, there we go. Mr. Sullivan.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for that, Chris. So tomorrow night then, 7 to 8.
Yeah. Are we going to start off with Joe Corey?
I think we will. We'll start with Joe Corey. We're live, still on the internet now. So tomorrow night it's a look at some films that Chris Sullivan has made over the last few months around art and creativity with some people he knows. So Joe Corey to start with, Chris.
Yeah.
Then you're going to talk about, I think, a world exclusive actually for a film about Steve Lazarides, Banks's former.
I've seen it. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
We have a little chat, and unfortunately Steve will be unable to join us because he's been out of communication for the last few days, and I feel the reason is not only does he already he already looks after 5 boys, 3 of his own and 2 of his wives. But his wife is also giving birth this weekend, I believe. So he's completely off the grid, shall we say? But we can discuss about the monumental effect he's had on the art world, taking Banksy from a man who just sprayed paint and thing to selling paintings for like 4 million recently, and we can talk about Joe Corey and his great artwork in both the arts and in yeah.
Great stuff, Chris.
Okay, guys.
Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Chris. Yorkshire Sculpture Park tomorrow. Your first visit, I know, virtual. We'll get you up here for real one day. Cheers, buddy. Take care. One love. Thanks a lot, Chris Sullivan. Absolutely brilliant there. So, Chris, been a rock for us for the last few months, and as I say, he's just made a film. If you haven't seen that, you could check that out. So we are. What is the time, Malumba? Like you said, he had to go at 8. Does that mean it's 8 o'clock already? My goodness, it's 2 minutes past 8. We need to get on. Thanks a lot, Chris. Catch you later. Right, so we are going to, if you're here for the light trail, get ready. We're just about to rock and roll with that. We've never done this before. We're making it up as we go along, in case you hadn't noticed. Hold tight. Let's get this film back.
Good evening. All schools across the country will close until further notice as coronavirus raged on.
Where is Chris Dyson? Can we have Chris Dyson on this stage, please?
As I said, we're in the toughest area in Leeds, and yet our school children, the children that actually sit on the interview panel for the Northern Ballet, because I want to give them an opportunity that we've never sort of had before. And it shows if you believe in the people, you believe in these teachers, you believe in these kids, absolutely anything is possible.
It is indeed, Mr. Dyson, it is indeed. I hope I wasn't swearing on air there. I've just a bit of a frustration actually, because we're very tinny sound, says Richard Timpson. Is that still the case, is it? Is it still tinny? So I'm in a Zoom meeting, and I'm hoping that some people are going to join me here at the moment. So the shortcut, I'm going to put the shortcut in that you're going to need. So to join the Zoom meeting, the Zoom call, you want let me just check what it is. Let's get it right. Okay. Let's have a look here. So you want BIT. So Night Light Trail link is bit.ly. This is a website address you type into your computer. Nightlight Trail 20. NITELITETRAIL 20. And you click on that. That should take you to the link. And let's see if anybody's going to join us in here. I hope I'm in the right one. I'm sure I got an email from a message saying somebody had actually joined us in the link. Is anybody going to join us? Is anybody going to click on that? Do tell me what. So the problem is, you're all going to obviously have to leave the Zoom thing. I'm going to have my curry. Do I not get many messages? Let's get our little film going. Okay, that should play.
World made of islands, connected by sound, vibrations of molecules flying around, recorded as data and sent down the wires, ones and noughts to make up a choir, joining together, listening together, working together, making a start, singing together, when we're together, and singing together apart.
Okay, is that working? So I'm in a Zoom conference over here, and I'm the only person here, which is a bit sad, isn't it? Makes me wonder if it's right or not.
A world made of islands, connected by sound, vibrations of molecules flying around.
Somebody's joined us.
Recorded as data and sent down the wire.
Hello, who's that?
Ones and noughts.
Let's unmute your microphone.
Joining together, listening together, working together, making a start.
Oh, look at that, brilliant.
When we're together and singing.
Right, let's get this up on the screen then. Wow, we can't hear you. I kind of feel we should be able to hear you. Have you got your microphone turned on? Let's see if we can, what we can do to get your microphone on.
A world made of islands, connected by sound, vibrations of molecules.
That's something from Parklands Primary, fantastic. I wonder if Chris Dyson's on here at the moment.
Ones and noughts to make up a choir, joining together.
That's fantastic. Oh, we've got some other people here, Eva and Ronnie. Karen's there, Karen Bingham. Let's get everybody up. There's Karen. Hi, Karen.
And singing together apart.
You right, Karen? Where's your torch? I don't know why we can't hear you. Can you hear us? Why can't we hear you? Hang on a second. I'm trying to understand why we can't hear anything on those. Number one.
A world made of islands, connected by sound, vibrations of molecules flying around, recorded as data and sent down the wires.
Right, hang on a sec. Let's get 6 in there.
Make up a choir, joining together, listening together, working together, making a start, singing
Evie and Ronnie.
when we're together and singing together.
Come on, Karen, where are your lights? Get some lights out, get a torch, get your phone out, turn the lights off and get your torch going. Put your thumbs up if you can hear me, Karen. Can you hear me? Why can't you hear me? It's a bit strange, isn't it? Can you hear me? God, this is crazy. Well, at least you know the link works. So Evie and Ronnie, fantastic. Can you make a note?
Recorded as data and sent down the wires, ones and noughts to make up a choir, join together, making a start, singing
Sorry?
together,
You what? Good sheep.
together, and
Maybe it's a delay.
singing together apart.
Where is everybody else then? We've got 3 in here at the moment. It's not a bad start. Let's just edit this a little bit. Trim video. Let's make that play a bit shorter.
There's no music.
Pardon?
There's no music.
Yes, there is. Can you hear us, Evie and Ronnie? Oh, we can hear you. Fantastic. Let's put you up full screen.
Ronnie, say hi.
Can you turn your phone sideways? Turn your phone sideways. That's better. So where do you guys live? Are you in Seacroft? Do you go to Parklands Primary by any chance? I thought maybe you did. So what year are you guys in at Parklands?
I'm in year 3. And I'm in year 4.
And what? And so, who's in year 4?
Evie's in year 4. And
Evie's,
Ronnie's in year 3.
fantastic. Well, thank you so much for making such a big effort. Let's put you over there. Look.
So you're lantern, Evie? Yeah.
That is fantastic. And is that the bulb that we gave you, or have you put a big bright one? Because it looks very bright. That does. Is it?
That was the one that she was given, wasn't it, Eve?
It works really well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So there's 3 of us in here. Karen's there with her torch. Let's get Karen up. What have you got? Oh, Karen's got. Oh, blimey! She's got some fancy crystal things going on there. That's lovely. I like that. I love the way the light's reflecting off there, Karen. That's lovely. We've got a few comments here. He's commenting here. We've got some comments coming in. Mr. Dyson, that is the patterns. Brilliant, brilliant. So Mr. Dyson's giving you the thumbs up there. I can hear you as well, so that's always good when Mr. Dyson can hear us. We like that.
Hello, Mr. Dyson.
You got you guys there. Evie, let's get Evie back.
Wayne, say hello.
Well, I tell you what, you have absolutely won yourselves. Would you like a Christmas decoration for your house?
Ronnie, would you like a decoration for our house?
Would you? Which one would you like? I think we had. Karen didn't tell me what. I can't remember what we did actually. We've got some. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got some icicles that you can hang on the wind on the gutter. So it looks like icicles are coming down, and they look a bit like this. Well, they look very much like this. Let's have a look. In fact, we should have got these up in our camper van. Really, we'll do it maybe tomorrow. So you can have some of those, and those are like lights that look like icicles. And I think there are 5 of those in that pack. But don't commit yourself too early. I've got to put my glasses on. Or you could have a monster set of Christmas lights, and that is 38 meters long. And you could put those in a bush or a tree. Or we've got a lovely snowflake like that. Can you see that one? Can you see the snowflake one? Or we've got a little, like a pet, I think there's like a little deer. What do you fancy?
It's doesn't really. Which one would you like? They do.
Are you going to make a decision?
Yeah, dear.
You'd like one of the deers, would you? So let's go and see if Karen, can you make a note of this for me? Get a piece of paper. Do you know Karen Bingham?
Do you know Karen Bingham?
Oh look, Karen's got all the prizes there. So Karen, can you hear us, Karen? Put your thumb. Yeah, oh, you can. Karen, can you say something? I can't hear you. Is your microphone on, or do I have to turn it on? Let's have a look. Can't hear you, Karen. I don't know why.
Ronnie.
Karen's gone altogether. I can see you, Karen. Can you hear me? Give us a thumbs up, Karen, if you can see, if you can hear me, so I know you can hear me. Mr. Dyson approves. Who's this? Luke Benjamin. Luke Benjamin's approving. Oh, it's a thumbs up, so you can hear us, can you, Karen? We can't hear you for some reason. I think it must be a bit of a delay or something as well. So Karen, can you do me a favour and write down that the deer, one of the deers, is going to go to Evie, I think it was. Yeah? You don't know them, and they don't know you, I don't think, but they're in year 4. So Mr. Dyson will know. So what we'll ask you to do is, we've got an email address. If you win a prize, I'll write it up on the bottom of I'll write it in the chat on Zoom.
Okay, thank you.
So if you win a prize, please email your details to yourturn@steamco.org.uk. So if you win a prize, please email your details to yourturn. Oh, my spelling's shocking. Backspace, forward space. Okay, so if you win a prize, please email your details to yourturn@steamco.org.uk. Oh, what's that? What's that come up? That's not good, I don't want that. Was it throwing me out of Zoom now? Gosh, this is hard, isn't it? Looks, isn't it, boys and girls? I think we've lost our Zoom connection for some reason. Let's stay with it. Alright, here we go. Sorry about that, guys. Oh, Rachel Orr's here, look. Hello, we've got everybody here. So Karen, so Evie and Ronnie, they've got one of the little deer. Can you make a note of that for me and put a ticket on it or something, so you don't give it away twice? They've gone, and we've got Rachel Orr here. Hello, Rachel Orr. How are you? You've got to unmute your microphone. Oh my goodness.
So Karen, so Evie and Ronnie, they've got one of the little deer. Can you make a note of that for me and put a ticket on it or something, so you don't give it away twice?
Oh my goodness, we've got all sorts of feedback and echo going on here. Rachel Orr, you look lovely. Do you live on the Seacroft estate in Leeds by any chance?
I don't. I'm actually in the northeast of England in Chesterler Street.
I know, I kind of knew that. So you don't qualify for a prize, you just qualify for being one of those endlessly inspiring people. That's not such a bad thing, is it really?
Well, I've got my angel halo on because it's all about enabling everybody to fly high.
I'm totally down with that, I must admit. Let's spotlight you, shall we? Put you up full screen there. So that's lovely.
I have my bells.
Fantastic. Do you know what? I mean, the guy who owns the Eden Project in Cornwall was saying to somebody the other day that there's a lot of good going to come out of COVID, and a lot of us have had a tough time. I've had a less tough time than some, I know. But it's helping us reevaluate what's important, and it's these connections. Here we are on a Saturday night. You know, I'm in Leeds, you're in the northeast. Karen and Evie and Ronnie are down there on Seacroft in Leeds. It's just wonderful, isn't it? And then Mr. Dyson sat at home watching Sky Sports. It's brilliant. I think he's had his feet up all day. Shout out from Chris Dyson to Rachel. Isn't it
I had a whole
fantastic?
day with Chris and the children at Parklands last year.
Did you?
It was incredible.
It's a super place, isn't it? I mean, it can't be said enough times, I don't think, to be quite honest with you. Really is lovely, isn't it? So what do you think of this little song here, Rachel, that we've got playing in the background?
I love it. Absolutely love it.
Isn't it lovely?
Fabulous. It's awesome.
It's awesome. Let's get that up a little bit.
connected by sound, vibrations
Thanks for singing it for us. You're a good singer. Learn the words in a minute.
recorded as data and sent down the wires. Ones and notes to make up a choir. Joining together, listening together, working together, making a start, singing together when we're together and singing together apart. A world made of islands connected.
We might learn the words by the end of it, you know.
Vibrations of molecules flying around, recorded as data.
Get your lights out again, Karen.
The wires, ones and notes to make up a choir. Joining together, listening together, working together, making a start, singing together when we're together and singing together apart. A world made of islands connected by sound, vibrations of molecules flying around, recorded as data and sent down the wires. Ones and notes to make up a choir. Joining together, listening together.
What I would say to you all is, that we've actually got 9 more light sets. So if you've got any friends locally who want some lights, tell them to get on that link now, because we've only got, how long have we got left? I'm going to send them back, get my money back. So if you've got any friends who want some Christmas decorations, you've got 7 minutes. 7 minutes to join our light trail here from Seacroft. Can't give the free lights away. Oops, they've gone on to make a phone call. They're going to tell their friends to get on. Let's get Rachel up. So Rachel, you're hopefully going to sing to us tomorrow night, aren't you?
So,
If we can get the technology working. What's the inspiration behind your choice of songs?
it's about making our dreams come true and making them real, and that we can all have that bit of Walt Disney behind us to make our dreams come true.
What bit of Walt Disney is that exactly?
But Cinderella, there's a bit of a connection there. When you think of Cinderella, she got that new pair of shoes and it really did transform her life, and me with my pairs of shoes.
Oh, it's all coming together now. I get it.
Yes. And Walt Disney, he said, all our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them.
Fantastic. I just dropped the
A dream
fork on
is
the
a
floor.
wish your heart makes.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for popping in. Don't go yet, because you are our audience at the moment. I've got a feeling that let's have a chat with Karen. Let's get Karen up here. So how are you doing there, Karen?
I'm alright, you?
I'm not bad. So are you going to be able to take these lights round to people tomorrow when we know who has them?
Say again, sorry.
You're going to help us get these lights out to people, are you?
Yeah.
So not the biggest turnout. I hadn't realised that a lot of kids are in bed by now, aren't they?
Yeah.
I didn't. That was a bit of a schoolboy error. Do you think that was a bit of a mistake, Rachel? Thumbs up or thumbs down to doing it at 8 o'clock, Rachel? What do you think? Think that was a bit of a mistake?
Not necessarily thumbs up, thumbs down, but you are competing against Strictly right now.
Well, that's the sort of schoolboy error. That's what I know about scheduling, isn't it? There you go. So Strictly's on at this precise moment, is it? That was a bad move then. Not to worry. Not to worry. I'm sure Karen can find good homes for them from people who produce a few photos. Karen, I'll tell you what we'll do, because we're going to move on in a minute. Can you think of some people, if we find out some people who'd like them, if you could get them to them, but they've got to promise to send us a little photo or a video or come on the Zoom tomorrow night. Do you think they'll do that?
Yeah.
Can you think of anybody? Well, not now, don't worry now, but I'm sure you could think of a few neighbours who'd like some lights, can't you?
Yep.
Good chance, good excuse to chat to your neighbours as well. There you go, I'm sure.
I'm off tomorrow.
Well, you do that then. You have a chat round because it's your job to give those out. That's your thing. Shana's doing the art tomorrow. Grandad Glenn's built all the signs. So we'll get that vibe going tomorrow. How about that?
Yep, that's fine.
I'll leave that with you. Then make sure that happens for me, and then we'll be in touch. You got any credit on your phone for texts and that? Have you got any credit, Karen, for texting us in and out tomorrow? You all right with that?
I've got Wi-Fi. I can make it
Oh,
on
that's the way to
Wi-Fi.
go. Yeah, that's free, isn't it? That's the way to do it. Yeah, spot on. Okay, Karen, bless you. Thank you very much. Well, we haven't got much time left. So, Evie, have you got any friends who are going to send anything? Yeah. Are they going to come in now? Because we've got 3 minutes. See you later, Karen. We've got 2 or 3 minutes for them to enter. Don't go yet, Karen. 3 more minutes. Stay on the line there.
We've tried to retweet it.
Who said that?
Evie's mum.
Evie's mum said that, did she? You tried to retweet it. Well, whatever. As I just said to Karen, you don't know Karen, do you?
No.
Okay, so what would be quite good is if you can think of anybody you know would want one or two, then you could always connect us up and we can connect you with Karen. Are you at Seacroft yourselves, are you?
We are, yeah.
Okay, so you're all, it's quite a big area though, Seacroft, isn't it? But you're at the school, so Mr. Dyson knows you anyway, so Mr. Dyson can connect us. I'll tell you what we'll do, we'll get the, when you email us, send us your mobile phone number, and we'll connect that in with Mr. Dyson. Mr. Benjamin here's put a little shout out saying, well done Eva, from Mr. Goodwin.
Thank you.
Is that your teacher? There we go. Chris Dyson's in the house as well again. Fantastic. Right, guys, well, we're going to have to move on now because we are going to... What are we doing now, Malumba?
Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Bless you. Thanks so much. Well, we could get back inside now because we've got a young boy called Alex who's going to do some busking and it's going to be fantastic. So we'll see you inside in just a moment. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ronnie, say bye.
Thank you all. Bye-bye, Rachel. Let's pull you all up before we go.
Hey, Ronnie.
Let's get this lovely one out here. Oh, look at, I love that. Oh, that's great. You've got a jam jar there. That's a good idea. And you've got the lights in it. That is absolutely super. Stay with that. That is lovely. Give it a little wobble so it wobbles around. That's so pretty. So you don't have to have fancy, expensive things, do you? Isn't that wonderful? Thanks for that, Kaylin. Where's Macaulay tonight then? What were you doing?
Bye.
What were you doing, Macaulay? Why weren't you on our light trail? Are you going to have that train light?
Yes.
Well, you should have come down to the light trail. You weren't here to win it. You should have been here. Well, you were on an Xbox and watching the telly, were you? Fair enough. Well, at least you were playing. You're doing something good. Well, make sure you get it all sorted out tomorrow. But I'll drop you a line tomorrow, Karen, yeah?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, lots of love. Take care, all of you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Lovely to see you. Thanks, Evie and Ronnie.
Bye. Say bye.
Bye-bye. See you on the other side.
Can we? I don't know how to stop the session.
There's data and sent down the wires, ones and noughts to make up a choir. Joining together, listening together, working together, making a start, singing together when we're together and singing together apart. A world made of islands, connected by sound, vibrations of molecules,
Well, that was lovely. Could have had a few more, but not to worry. It's busy. I didn't realise we were clashing with Strictly. I think if we've got one young, 2, 3 families. Lovely to see Karen and Kaylin and Macaulay there. Got Macaulay from playing with his toys, his cars. Brilliant. So what we're going to do now, just so you know, is we're now going to go. We're actually going to go to. We're going to do Boff Wally actually and Chris Dyson, because that was what the plan was. I'd just like to know that somebody's watching. We haven't got the massive audience, and this is going to be gold dust, utter gold dust. So I'm going to just play a little video to get an audience together. It's 8:30. We're going to be rolling that in about 5 minutes, and then after that we've got Alex, who's a young busker. Then after that, Titania. And I've got to actually check my phone because somebody's supposed to send me something, and I just want to see if they have. Oh, we've got Chris Tolson. Let's get Chris Tolson up. Actually, he did a little video. Let's get them up first. Chris Tolson sent us a video. The only trouble is that's on that laptop. So, okay, let's cut that. I think what we'll do actually, we were hoping tonight to be able to have a performance by a very, very special young man. A little lad who can't hold a knife and fork, he can't hold cutlery, he can't hold a pen, but he plays the piano every single day. And that little lad came on a journey with us. He came to Glastonbury, our event we ran down in Glastonbury. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to cut to BBC Breakfast. And we're going to hear the amazing story that Lenny had this summer.
And we're going to finish breakfast today by going back to Lenny in Leeds.
Hi, I'm Lenny. Today's Tunes What a Wonderful World. Here we go.
So how did the opportunity come about then?
One of the head teachers in Leeds hooked us up really, us and the Steamco guys, and said, oh, this is a great little boy, you know, can you sort of help him with his creativity? It's just an amazing experience in Glastonbury. It's like the ultimate celebration of creativity, I guess. It's, you know, everyone coming together in every little walk of life and just sharing in music and art and culture.
Thank you.
Lenny, thank you so much. Thank you.
Lenny.
Absolutely perfect. And he doesn't even need to look at his hands when he's playing. Lenny, you're brilliant.
He is amazing.
That's all from us today. We are back tomorrow from 6.
Have a great day. See you tomorrow.
Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
So that was Lenny there. It was a connection from Chris Dyson through to that little lad there, Lenny, and we got him onto BBC Radio Sheffield, Radio Leicester, BBC Breakfast, ITN, and it's just been quite such a journey. He was on the Steph show the other day recently. So I'm just going to play the film to set Alex up, because Alex, we're coming to you right now. We're just setting this up for a connection to you. Just going to set this film off and set the scene.
Ministers have just announced Christmas will be different this year for thousands of us. New measures
Come on! I am! Come in! Ready? Yeah.
You see, I grew up a bloody screw up. I've always been a little rough around the edges. I run the streets all day where we would play, blowing, chasing, hopping over fences. Youths offended, bad decisions, good intentions, poor attendance, skip detention. Living life's the only way you ever learn your lesson. Authorities couldn't handle him. In hindsight, they didn't know what was happening when there was never any doubt. Was never chasing clout, I wasn't even chasing any status. You know you ought don't have to rate us, cause I'll always be a rock star, even if I never get famous. They said you won't get a job, you will be dead. But did you know that I'm going to be a legend? I'm a rock star. Ooh, I'm a rock star. They said you never get a job, you will be dead. But did you know that I'm going to be a legend? I'm a rock star. Ooh, I'm a rock star. I'm a rock star. Ooh, I'm a rock star.
Okay, so we're just lining up now. We've got our cardboard pyramid stage, or cardboard Tracy Island stage, with the massive rocket here waiting to go, and we're just trying to connect up with Alex. So we're just waiting to get that audio connection now. Whoops, that's encouraging. What's that? That's a little beep. Is that a message from somebody? Let's have a look. Oh dear. God, this is stressful. Right. God, blimey, it's all go, isn't it? It's all go. So tonight we've got Titania after Alex, we've got Boff Wally. Hoping to get Chris Dyson up to sing along on that. That would be fun, wouldn't it, if we can get that to happen as well. So I don't really understand quite what's going on here. I might just roll another little film and let's play our next one.
Good evening. All schools across the country will close until further notice, as coronavirus raged among.
Where is Chris Dyson? Can we have Chris Dyson on this stage, please?
As I said, we're in the toughest area in Leeds, and yet our school children, the children that actually sit on the interview panel for the Northern Ballet, because I want to give them an opportunity that they've never sort of had before. And it shows that you believe in the people, you believe in these teachers, you believe in these kids, absolutely anything is possible.
So I'm afraid we're still struggling to track down our young busker, so I'm just going to keep playing videos until he turns up. I don't know what's happening here, I really don't. Okay, so just bear with us. I might just go to the Boff film actually. Is there anybody out there who wants to see Boff Wally? Sorry?
That's going to be 30 minutes when the kids are going to go to bed.
So we're trying to juggle out whether to do Boff Wally or Alex Spencer. Alex is a young busker from Manchester and he's going to go to bed if we don't get him on, but we can't connect with him. So it's the dilemma of my life really, as I'm sure you can imagine. But not the biggest problem in life. Malumba's sat here trying to sort it out and connect us up. Kind of feel we should have some tunes in the background. What have we got here? Here's our grimy sort of song, a bit spooky. In fact, I'd quite like to get a bit of Thunderbirds on actually. I wonder if that's going to trip our copyright filters out. I don't know. Let's have a look.
Writing's not that easy. This sentence is script.
Well, I just found a bit of Thunderbirds, but it's it's an old one. Sorry, a modern one. I don't really want to watch the modern one. I want to see the original one. Where are we? Oh, let's do the new one then, if that's what it's going to take. I'll be honest with you, I've never seen the new Thunderbirds. So this is a new Thunderbirds video by the look of it. That's what the Thunderbirds looks like at the moment. So why don't we put that on our little space station there, our cardboard launcher. So we'll put that up there like that, bring that up and play this little Thunderbirds film. Oh wow, okay. I don't know how many people are out there watching, but we're we're having a bit of a problem. So I've just had a really exciting email actually, which I need to download on the other computer. So if we go to Boff Wally, if we get Boff Wally on stage, because his set is half an hour, are you telling me that they go to bed and then we'll miss them basically? Is that what you're saying? So we need to try and hang on to them. Okay guys, sorry about this. We're going to give them a couple more minutes. Bear with me a second because I've just had something really, really cool and exciting through. So let me just have a look at this. This is going to be a world exclusive. I've just had a message to say that someone's just sent me something. So let's have a look. It's really weird when somebody does a bit of work for you and it takes, how big's this file? Let's have a look. One zip file, oh my goodness, 570 megabytes. Okay, so my son has just accidentally declined a Skype call because he is signed into my Skype account. That's strange. I wonder how, so my son's in London and he's just, okay, this is all just a bit nuts, isn't it really? All a bit beyond nuts. So bear with us. Feedback on the noise, really? Feedback. Interesting feedback. Can we check the tone courses? So our next act is Alex Spencer. We are still waiting for him to come up, so I'm going to pop a little message on the bottom there just to say that's coming up. So do stay with us. We've got a few viewers. Boff Wally is coming up quite soon. Okay. 1 2 1 2. We have got a young man in the studio. Are you able to turn your camera widthways, young man? Can you turn your camera widthways for me?
Hi, Nicky. We've got it on a tripod and it's stuck with rubber bands. Hi, are you okay?
You're right there. Nice to see you, mate. Yeah, nice one.
Yeah, you too. Yeah, nice one. Thanks very much for this, by the way.
It's great. Are you able to flip it around?
Well, I'd have to hold it back. Let me have a go with the rubber bands. Give me a moment.
No problems. We've
Okay. Which way will be that way? Yeah.
That's better. Why don't you hold it? Well, I think if you do that, then you'll actually...
I can walk around.
Exactly, a bit of variety. Okay, we're standing by.
Right, Alex, hang on.
Hang on a second, I want to just set this up.
Shall we just have a little play to see what the sound level's like?
Well, we're live now, so don't worry about that. Okay, hold tight. I'm just going to go back because I want to go back to set the scene here. Okay, hold on a second. Let's stop that, and 2 seconds, and we're cooking on gas. Okay. Okay, so stand by, everybody, please. Everybody stand by. And let's start this Saturday night part of the Aim High 20 Festival. We're going to roll a short film, and then we're going to come to a young man who's been waiting for a big performance, maybe a performance of his life. We will never know. So let's cut to there and play the video.
Ministers have just announced Christmas will be different this year for thousands of us. New measures.
Michael! Come on! I am! I'm coming! Ready? Yeah.
You see, I grew up a bloody screw up. I've always been a little rough around the edges. I run the streets all day where we would play, blowing, chase and hopping over fences. Youths offended, bad decisions, good intentions, poor attendance, skip detention. Living life's the only way you ever learn your lesson. Authorities couldn't handle him. In hindsight, they didn't know what was happening when there was never any doubt. Was never chasing clout, I wasn't even chasing any status. And you know you all have to rate us, cause I'll always be a rock star, even if I never get famous. They said you have to get a job and you'll be legend. They didn't know that I was going to be a legend. I'm a rock star. Ooh, I'm a rock star. They said you have to get a job and you'll be legend. They didn't know that I was going to be a legend. I'm a rock star. Ooh, I'm a rock star. I'm a rock star. Ooh, I'm a rock star.
Well, Absolutely loved that film, I must admit. Really, really loved that. It was just amazing for the co-op to make a film that so summed up what we're trying to do here at this festival. The power of creativity, the power of community, the power of generosity, how that young lad grabbed his guitar and went and played songs and then refused to take any money off the audience. Just wonderful. The co-op have been great to us. They share values. A lot of people think the co in Steamco stands for company. It doesn't. It stands for co-together, collaboration, communication, connection, co-creation. So when we saw a tweet on the back of that, we ripped that film off. We took the Oasis song off. We put a song that we'd been given permission to use a few weeks ago from an amazing band called City Lights, based in Wolverhampton, Birmingham area. Incredible. We were connected to them by a really good friend of ours, Matt from SBPM Music, who we know down in South Wales. We spent time with him. We're doing a lot of work with him moving forward. Amazing guy who doesn't just manage people, he empowers them. And the guys at City Lights, they went to an awful lot of effort. They rented a studio. They were going to do a real fantastic job for us. They moved a mountain. We had video, and then COVID struck. Took the studio out of the equation, and tragically they weren't able to support that. But we're so grateful to those guys, and thank you so much for loaning us that tune for this project. The lyrics are so powerful. Legend and legend. I had no idea of the significance of that, because nobody should be growing up to be a legend. As we just heard from Lockie, the Scottish rapper, everybody has an opportunity, should be able to fulfil themselves. And that's what Chris Dyson's doing for those kids at Parklands on the Seacroft Estate in Leeds. We tweeted our version of that film, and then we saw a tweet by a lad from Manchester. And quite frankly, we were absolutely blown away by what he was doing, because he is the lad in that film. He is, I'm going to say this actually, and I don't mean anything by this because we're inclusive, he is that white working class lad in Manchester who uses his art, his creativity to connect. He's got his dad behind him, and his dad's a grafter. His dad runs a market trade stall in the market there, but obviously his work had gone with lockdown, and his dad's behind him. And that's what this is about. AIM High 20 is about parents, mums, dads, creative carers, the communities coming together behind all our children, absolutely all of them. So here we are on the screen there. We've got young Alex. Can you hear me, Alex?
Yeah, I can hear you. Hi.
Can't hear you. Why can't I hear you? What's going on with that?
Right.
I've got a bit of a. Do you know, I'm actually going to. I've got a loose connection this end. I'm going to take that out of there completely. Hang on. It's my fault, not you. It's me, not you, as they say. I'll tell you what it is. Something got bent there, and it's decided to use this moment to be naughty. So now I should be able to hear you. Can you talk to me again? No, speak.
I can hear you.
I can. Just give me a sound check.
1, 2.
Okay, Alex, that's fantastic. So get your dad in here. Brad, are you there somewhere? Are you as well?
Yeah, I'm here, mate. Yeah, nice to meet you, Nick. Thank you, guys.
Can't thank you guys enough for your support for what we're trying to do here. It's all about the dads, it's about the mums, it's about the creative carers, and you're cool for Alex to do a little set for us now, are you?
We certainly are, mate. Yeah, he's looking forward to it. Thank you very much. I hope you all enjoy it.
Well, I've just got to say to you, Brad, this is going live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. You give permission for this screening, yeah? Are you cool with that?
We do, yeah. No problem. No problem.
So your lad tonight is going to be playing on our cardboard Tracy Island that we're building here, and we're going to build and we're going to develop over the weekend. So I'll leave it over for you. Go for about 20 minutes or so. That'd be wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Alex
much.
Spencer, everybody.
So should I start playing?
Yeah, let's go. Let's get the volume down.
The first song I'm going to play is by Oasis. Maybe there's all they want to know. You got to lose, 'cause I just want to down. Lately, did you ever pain? Your mind and brain associates to the wrong. Maybe I just want to fly, want to live, I don't want to die. Maybe I just want to breathe. Maybe I just don't believe. Maybe overseas me. We see things we'll never see. You and I we're gonna live forever. She said maybe don't really wanna know. I got to know. that I want to be. Now it's not the time to cry, now it's time to find out why. I think the only thing is me. We see things we never see. You and now I'm gonna live forever. Gonna live forever. Gonna live forever. Gonna live forever. We're gonna live forever. Thank you very much. That was the record by Oasis.
That was amazing. That was well received. The audience liked that one. Fantastic.
Yeah. Is the sound all good? Is all?
It sounds
all
great. Alex, don't you worry about it. It sounds brilliant. Great job.
Okay, next I'm going to play a song by the Beatles called Help. I hope you enjoy. Help, I need somebody, not just anybody. No, I need someone. Help. When I was younger, so much younger than today, I never needed anybody's help in any way. But now these days are gone, I'm not so self-assured. Now if I change my mind, open up the doors. Tell me if you can, I'm feeling down. And I do appreciate you being around. Help me get my feet back on the ground. Won't you please, please help me? And now my life is changing in so many ways. My independence seems so valuable. But every now and then I feel so insecure. Now if I change my mind, open up the doors. Tell me if you can, I'm feeling down. And I do appreciate you being around. Help me get my feet back on the ground now. Won't you please, please help me, help me, help me. Thank you very much.
Well, that was brilliant as well. I enjoyed that. I didn't get the audience up for that. Didn't we need to get the audience for that? So I'll give you a bit of clap for that. There
Thank you very much.
There aren't that many people here, but they sounds a bit more like there are a few more. It's all good. It's all good. Got a good audience coming in. Got some great comments. We'll get some comments after the next song. What's next, Alex?
Do you want to hear an original that I wrote?
You love to. That's called creativity.
It's called Things Just Come and Go. I wrote it during lockdown. It was about, I was a bit tired during lockdown and I wanted to write some music. So here it is. I really hope you enjoy it. Sunshine's coming out today. It's all finally coming my way. No rain knocking on my door. Oh, if it carries on, I won't be able to take it much more. We're the future, no we live the past. If we don't see correctly, we always see the light. I look out my window, I see the sunny skies. Tomorrow we find out that we're in paradise. Wake up with a bad attitude. Maybe sing a song that is a bit after you. Running down the road like it was yesterday. it's alright. Believe it's alright. Things just come and go. Thank you very much. That was an original.
Brilliant. Just so I just say how people hear it.
Alex, that's just brilliant. Really, really good. And that's the song you wrote yourself, was it?
Yeah, it was. Over lockdown I did it.
Well, we've got some feedback here. Let's see what the people are saying there. We've got a cracking tune there from a chap called Chris Dyson. I wouldn't listen to a word he says. He's a school head teacher in Leeds. Joanne says the audio is not brilliant. I don't know. I'm sorry about the audio. We seem to be all over the place here.
Yeah, something's like my dad listened to it and something's crackling or something.
Yeah, actually from here it sounds amazing, but I've just listened to it on Facebook and Twitter, and it sounds really crackly.
Does it? Let me monitor that, because I don't know what the problem is. I really don't. Because let me just check the audio levels here. We want to get this as good as we can.
From here it sounds fine. It's not distorted. Nothing. It's really clear sound.
It's not particularly high.
I just listened to it on Facebook and Twitter, and it sounded really distorted and crackly. Maybe it's the link. I don't know, the Skype link.
Well, no, because I've got it perfect here. I'm getting it off Skype. What I've got here is perfect. What we're sending to the internet's perfect, because I can hear it on my headphones. It's perfect. So it's not yours. It's not here.
I mean, it sounds. Yeah, when we're listening now back to you, it sounds great. But when I went onto social media, it didn't. Anyway, don't worry about it.
Well, I do worry. I am going to worry about it. Hang on. I'm just going to. I've turned it down a lot. I wonder if it was just distorting out. But I wonder if that's too quiet now. Let's just see if anybody at home. Can anybody at home give us a little sort of? Can you just sort of do a little? Get some comments from home. Anybody at home? What we think of the audio? How's it now?
Is that better?
Let me just have a listen.
Let me look at the Facebook feed as well. See what people are saying.
Once you squirt stuff into the internet, you're at their mercy. Let's have a look. There's a high pitch. There's a bit of a whistle there of some sort, but
yeah.
Can we try acoustically maybe without the
Brad, it's not at your end. It's nothing at your end. It's something in the internet, I'm afraid.
It's not from our end.
It's nothing you can change.